Going on, y'all? This low.
This is Key, and we're low key. So today we're going to talk about something that I was thinking about earlier, and your will. And is your will greater than your program? So let's talk about your will. Your will is like your determination, your desire. Um, and the program, when I say program, it's like what things do you do on a daily basis? How do you function? That would be your program. How you function. So you get up in the morning, you wash, brush your teeth, you do all those things, and you just continue throughout your day. You go to work, you get off from work, you run by the grocery store, that kind of program. The same things that you do every day. And sometimes things don't go as planned. So when things don't go as planned, what happens? Do you keep moving? Do you try to correct it so it don't happen the next day? Do you plan ahead? Do you try to find some solution to make things better? So when I say your will, I believe, is your determination. Like, how determined are you? Do you take no for an answer? Do you take rejection well? Um, I know for our biggest thing here recently is meditation. Like when you meditate, do you have success in the beginning, or do you give up and say, you know what, forget it, I'm not going to do it no more because this is not for me? Do you take that as a fail, or do you take that as a win? Like, do you pass? Do you pass on, okay, I'm gonna try it again a little bit longer. I'm gonna give myself a little bit more time. I'm gonna quiet my mind. I'm gonna stop when I do get out of alignment, and I start thinking all these thoughts. Am I gonna bring it back into the center and stop, breathe, and try it again? Because if you don't have a great enough will, your program will overtake you.
Yep. When we say program, we mean your physiological and your psychological development coming up from your childhood all the way up until your present moment. Meaning, and the determining factors for that is mainly your environment, like who you was watching, who you was around, coming up from zero to what would you say around 10, 11, 12 maybe.
Maybe
And you
sixth grade.
subconsciously pick up these things and these traits, like with financially, like mentally, emotionally, just how you move in total from the things that you see, the people you around, who you following around, and who you looking up to. You know what I'm saying? You even realize you like some of the things that people you seen eating as a child, and it's not so much of bloodline, but more so of programming. Because when you in your youth, like you sponge, like that's just not a misnomer. Well, I mean, it's a misnomer for your program. Because your sponge when you're young is your programming system. And then you come up, and the way you move without thinking is whatever program you vibrating in. And if you do not like your program, or the way you've been moving now has you in a situation that you find undesirable, and you know that you want to change it, I mean, you halfway there. Because most people that don't even identify that it's them, they spend their whole life pushing it off on their partner, the next person. It's because I got kids. It's because of my daddy left me. It's because my mama won't there. It's because of this person. They'll spend their whole life playing the victim and talking down on the person who was able to transition. Absolutely. Because they are unaware that they operate in from a program. So once you realize that, you are already halfway there. But it's then understanding you gonna have to have some willpower to come up out of that thing.
Absolutely.
Like when you study, when you try to do all these things to try to change up your situation, it ain't gonna just come like that.
No,
like
it's
meditating. I didn't know meditating was that hard.
Yeah.
For real. Like you really gotta focus on these things, like building a business, talking about writing a book, making a business, having a YouTube setup, and just your overall thinking pattern. To try and change the way you thinking subconsciously, it's gonna take a major shift in your life.
Absolutely. You're gonna have to shift. That means you're gonna have to turn. Cause when you're running a program, it's just your behaviors. It's like your actions, and you do that over and over and over again. And before you know it, like really, you can will your behavior onto anybody.
That's real.
So in your program, you got a program, right, that you're running. And let's just say your program is not 100% tight. Like you haven't gotten it. Like you know something is wrong. You just can't figure it out. That's your guided system telling you like, hey, this is wrong. But you've learned it.
What you mean by what's a guidance? Let them know.
Your guided system is that, I think it's your consciousness. Like this the part of you that, like when something tells you that that's wrong, don't do that. Or it's like your inner voice, I would say. Your inner voice. It sounds a little off the spectrum, but it is.
Everybody know they got an inner voice.
It's your inner voice, that inner voice. And if you pay attention to it and you slow down and you focus and get into that moment, it'll tell you that, hey, this is like, we need to do this and we don't need to do that. We need to act on that deal. No, we don't need to act on that deal. You need to call. You need to, like that. Or that's basically what it is. But when your program, because we could be running programs from, like you say, from a kid.
Yep.
If your parents weren't financially stable, chances are you won't be. If you weren't taught how to control, yourself, then you won't be controlled. You won't control yourself as an adult. So all of these things are learned behaviors, and when you get older, then you wonder why some things are just off. And then when you try to do something, it seems like you're not trying hard enough, or it seems like everything you do is wrong, but your will is what keeps you moving, keeps you going. I'm not taking no for an answer. I know something's supposed to give. I'm going to do it.
Temperature going up.
Yeah, and you get that momentum, and then you reach.
So you think it's possible if you keep pushing intelligently?
Mm-hmm.
You think you could change your program?
Yes, but only when you recognize that the program is broken.
What you mean?
Only when you recognize there's something wrong.
Yeah, I think that's bigger. Yeah, I think that's bigger than cause most of y'all gonna die, and you not even gonna know. Most of the people you gonna talk to, they don't know what the hell you talking about. Mm-hmm. You gonna tell them about a program. That's almost fighting words. You know? And
yeah.
Like if you were raised in a certain situation, like not even like more so not being good with money, but it goes deeper than that. It's kind of like government assistance. Like if you seen people on that, somehow it's like you end up doing it.
Yeah, and
without even thinking about it. So imagine if you become a person who able to change that. don't let your kids see it, but you let them see good credit cards. You know what I'm saying? Certain things. Imagine you'll break that curse, because it is a curse.
It is.
Not even all financially, like just like thought patterns, like
Thoughts.
you around people who everybody acting like they disabled and they getting disability checks. Next thing you know, you coming in, where my disability check? Because that's what you around, that's what you seeing, and that's how you gonna die. If you
And
don't listen to
disabilities.
what Key gonna tell you about the solutions, how to change it. So give them 5 things they could do to apply they will to their program. Say that they figured out that they want to change some things and they start playing the victim. So now what do they do, babe?
You need once you recognize, you know, that something's wrong. I think you need to sit down and you need to figure out where you're going wrong. So you sit down and you write down your program, because it's in the actions that you do. So if you could figure out, okay, well, these are my actions. This is what I do every day. So for instance, we know that if you don't wake up on time every day, what happens? You late.
Everything go down.
Everything. You walk out the door, you rushing. Next thing you know, you're in a car wreck. You never made it to work, so you're missing money. Or, you know, everybody's canceling. You can't make it to your appointments on time. You got a great deal that you want to close, but you end up being late because you're just late. So what happens is, if you identify, okay, this is what I'm doing, I need to change this. And once you understand that you need to change it, then you implement new things that you can try. Going to sleep on time, getting up on time. Don't hit the snooze, just get up. Like 1, 2, 3, get up. You realize, you recognize, you change it, you meditate. That's good because you need to focus. I think when you change the program, segment intending, that helped me to change my program in the way that I'm thinking, because now I put intention, deliberate intention behind everything that I do. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
What else, baby?
I say, like, every hour you need to look back on the hour. What have I been doing for this hour? Because it's real now. Like, your ass getting old. For real, like,
gaining some years
if
now.
you really want to be in a different situation, you could be in a different situation by being in a different situation. But ain't nobody else gonna care about your situation as much as you.
Yeah. Another thing, you gotta disassociate yourself with the past. Disassociate, like everything that has happened. I don't care how many times it has happened. I don't care who it was, where it was, how many times you got upset, whatever. You need to disassociate yourself in that. You don't need to attach anything to who you are as a being. Don't even classify yourself as that when you meditate.
Only when you meditate.
I would say every day, but start with meditation, because a lot of people, they don't.
But everybody you know though, that they associate you like that. So what do you do?
That's their association. You, in your mind, your mental, you have to know.
A lot of times you gotta separate the elevate.
There you go. Drop them off by the wayside.
Drop them off. Like, you gotta separate. And just like she said, you gotta also separate from your past self and those things that can't go up with you.
Absolutely.
Because that's the very things that's holding you in place. You got something else, baby?
That's it, baby.
We're gonna holler at y'all on the next one. It's low.
This is Key, and we're low key.
Peace. Like, comment,
and subscribe.
All right.